Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to what normally would be Wisdom Wednesday, but we're going to call it Technically Thankful Thursday. We've had some equipment problem again. A lot of the equipment we were using was older stuff that's been used over and over again for years, and I'm also set up at home, so we don't have all the luxuries of different things going on. And for some reason, and if you guys caught Sunday service, you kind of saw that we had a lot of audio but no video. But we've also fixed that, so check out this full Sunday service. You can check out the little magic and things that went on. And I do appreciate those guys who hung in there till the end of it to hear it, and then hopefully went back and watched it. We did work hard on that and make sure that we got everything down packed. So we do appreciate you for it. With that being said, hopefully next week we'll get back to our regularly scheduled videos with Meditating with You on Monday, Tea Time Truth Talk on Tuesday, and of course our Wisdom Wednesday as we continue our book series on You Deserve This Shit and the path to becoming unstuck and becoming the best you. And this week I'm excited because this to me reminds me of the unity teachings that I teach, which is principle number 5, which happens to be knowing the truth is not enough. You must live the truth. And that's what part 3 is about. It's intentional living. It's living from intention. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Well, before I get to that, remember to subscribe, like, hit that bell, and make sure that, our videos get out there so that others who can use this message, or even if they're just interested in the book or what the book's about, they can come here again. I'm trying to give it to you at a very high level because I really encourage you to read the book and support the author. He also has a TikTok channel. He has an Instagram channel. He emails probably once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks with inspiration for me. This book led me to another book that I'm reading right now. And so many things happening in my life because I decided to live from intention. So quickly, let's go ahead and look at what he puts. And he says, make conscious efforts to live aligned with your truest values and beliefs. Your decisions define you. Choosing a life that matters is completely in your hands. One of my mentors used to always tell me that where I am in my life today is based on what decisions I made 5 years ago. And those 5 years ago, maybe I wasn't ready to change. There's a saying that says you will change when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, which did nothing for me. But was when someone, a director in a business I was, who came to me and said, you know what, Rich, change will happen when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. And only then will change happen. That hit me hard because I realized that was it. When you're staying in the same place, and not going anywhere, you're not growing anymore. And if you're not growing, basically, you've already ended your life. You've said, I don't want to live anything greater anymore. So, first section of the book, we talked about awareness. We did some journaling. We did some meditation. We did some looking at what our life looks like. We actually encompassed gratitude so that we're grateful for where we started. And we talked about our comfort zone. We talked about what keeps us in our comfort zone. And I've also added the lesson that I had to learn later, which is that even though we step outside our comfort zone, that just grows a new comfort zone. And we have to continue to grow and expand. And that's what's important. And what we're going to do this week is talk about intentional living. So again, from the author, intentional living consists of making choices that keep you connected with your life's values. Choosing to live intentionally is a decision. It is a commitment. It is a promise you need to make to yourself. It is a promise, the decision you make on a daily basis define you now and will define your future. With that in mind, this means you're able to choose a life that matters, one that you want to lead. And I think the best word here is commitment, because it seems like sometimes in this generation that commitment means nothing. I remember growing up in a time where a handshake was enough to say, we're going to get this done. One of my mentors, again, taught me commitment is doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the feeling that you said it in was gone. And I tell people that all the time. They're like, well, if I made a commitment to do this and I don't want to do it anymore, well, here's what you need to do. You keep that commitment. And when you complete that commitment, then you have a chance again to make a new decision. Just as if I went and did something where maybe somebody asked me to do a lecture series and I start talking and I realize that it wasn't what I want to do right now. I will complete the commitment, but at the end of it, when they're like, oh, well, would you come back for a second? No, I do appreciate what you gave me, but at this point, I need to make a decision for myself and move on. But you always want to keep your commitments, especially to yourself. So the lesson talks about several different aspects of life that revolve around your decisions. And if I'm correct, there are 6 sections, and I will break them up into 2 because I think we need to actually focus on each one. So forming a routine is one of them. The power of positive thinking, how your network can elevate your life, the importance of choosing your lifestyle, building a system to support your goals, and how your life is only as big as your aspirations. So again, living intentionally may sound challenging in some cases, but it is something we need to do to move forward. Again, even in Unity, when we work at our spiritual level, I just did a 4-part talk on what the path, a positive path to spiritual living was. But to live that path, you must live from intention. What is your intention and what is the path you will take for spiritual living? So let's begin with the power of routine. So the author, I love it because he says, I'm totally a morning guy, but that doesn't mean I always have been. So one book that I read a while ago is called First Make Your Bed. And it was written by a naval admiral, if I'm correct. And he talked about how that simple act of making your bed every day creates a habit you can start. Now, it's something I have to keep up with as well, because I tend to get up and rush out to get to do a lot of things. But I need to get back to that routine. I used to get up, meditate, read, journal, exercise, and then finally start my day. Part of that routine is to put your phone away. I know it's hard because I've done the same thing. I have the phone right next to my bed. I pick it up. I immediately go through my notifications. I immediately then go through my emails. And then it's like they say, when you do that, you'll see emails or you may see some things that may trigger you to be in a bad mood for the rest of the day. Now, for those who actually watch the Sunday services, and you can go back to our YouTube channel and see them, when I talk about it's all consciousness, one of the things in consciousness is reaction. So that's helped me a little bit. So if I make the mistake of picking up my phone first thing in the morning, I scroll through my phone, I see an email, I see a letter that may trigger me. I know now that my consciousness has to be at a level that allows me to react to it and say, okay, it's just an email, it's just a letter. What is meant to be will be. Or if I have to take action, I move toward that action. So what you want to do is start creating intentions every day. Start creating a routine. What can you do? You can start with moving toward, some meditation in the morning, some exercise. If you're having your tea or coffee, do it mindfully. Do it in a way that you're only worrying about that. Don't worry about your day. Your phone will always be there. Your emails will continue to be there. Heck, I was doing a search and found emails from like 2012 still in my email box. Okay, which tells me I really have to start cleaning out my emails. But the point is that we need to start an intention, waking up early. And for me, waking up early could be, wanting to sleep till 2 in the afternoon because I don't have to be to work till 4 or 5 o'clock my time. But knowing I should get up at 12 to give myself an hour, and I call it the power hour. It's actually in my calendar scheduled. So some of the things that the author, again, exercise, we talked about that. Motion creates emotion. So when I used to do my DDP yoga, and I started with the seated because, again, some challenge, my challenges and things like that. And I felt good, especially as I got to the more advanced levels, which included standing up, which included more stretching. And at one time I had moved to the standing yoga. So again, that motion creates an emotion for the day. Make my bed. We just talked about that, how that actually helps. Meditating, quieting your mind before a long day of work. And again, people suggest 15 minutes. The author actually suggests 15 minutes. I used to do 20 minutes. But even if you start with a minute and grow a minute every day, 5 minutes at a time, I don't know how many times during the day when I feel stressed or I feel like I need to do something, I'll take a minute, just literally 30 and 60 seconds, and just breathe. And I'll be working through that. Journaling, again, we talked about that. Writing your thoughts, maybe following the prompts from the book, which included a verbal vomit of just writing whatever came to you, maybe overnight in a dream. Listing what you're grateful for, what you look forward to being grateful for in the day. Making coffee. Again, when I read this, I laughed because, again, I have one of those dual machines where I can do an espresso and or Keurig. But I do remember when I had the pour over, where I would have to get the boil the water, put the cone in, fill that up with coffee, pour carefully. So it was kind of like a tea ceremony. If you've not seen a tea ceremony, you can look one up online, and you'll know that it's not just about, okay, let's just pour everything and drink. It was more of a ceremonial type of thing. And it's a mindfulness exercise. Free write. So again, just writing out. There's a website, I don't remember offhand right now, where you used to be asked to write 750 words a day. And if you did that every day for 30 days, you would be able to write even more. And I fell off of that. And that's something I want to look forward back to because I do have my thesis to start writing and later on my dissertation. But it's something that helps me continue to write. I'm more of the audio person, which is why I started with the podcast. Video came along and I love speaking. But I do have to start writing again because of the things that are coming up, not only for my master's degree, but also as I continue as a Unity minister and things of that nature. Now, on top of doing things, you want to do other things that help you keep you in line with your morning routine. So setting barriers. You want to be able to say, this is my time. So like I said, I blocked off an hour on my calendar. I don't expect to be answering a phone during that hour. I do not expect to be answering my email at that hour. Doesn't mean that I do it every day. I'm not perfect, but I try to do that where I don't do anything but what's in that 1 hour. Turn off your phone. We just talked about that. Don't worry about your phone. Will always be there. Your emails will always be there. I am a supervisor where a lot of things can happen during the day when I'm not ready to take an email. So yes, sometimes things happen, but I don't think that within that hour it's going to be that detrimental. And if it is, they would call. So you want to do that. Taking advantage of rituals. We just talked about that. Making a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, making your bed, taking a walk. All of these things are rituals. Having that hour of power, knowing that 20 minutes for writing, 20 minutes for meditating, 20 minutes for exercise gives me a trifecta of mindful things I can do to get a ritual started. And be consistent with it. Try to keep doing it. And if you fail, you've heard me say this, fail forward. Know that in time, it will become almost automatic. And I can tell you that even after a while, when you really get that routine down, and day 3, let's say day 31, you something happens and you can't do it, how much you will miss it to the point that you'll find sometime in the day to make it happen. The other thing here is thoughts are energy. It says your thoughts are energy and your intentions create your reality. Unity talks about that as well. So again, you hear me going back to Unity principles. It's because this is what I became a minister for and what I try to live my life by, the 5 principles. Principle number 3 talks about thoughts being things. You control your life and you create your life by the thoughts you have. And that's what he's talking about here, is actually doing that. We've heard a lot about the law of attraction. So I like what he wrote here. He said the law of attraction is real. Simply stated, the law of attraction is the belief that positive or negative thoughts bring positive or negative experiences into the person's life. It is in our power to dictate the ecosystem we live in, as it comes down to how we approach our thoughts every day. Negative thoughts are sometimes hard to avoid because of the constant social pressure we're all enduring in our life, but there's a path to recovery for my negative thinking out there. I talk about it all the time. We are a nation that's attracted to drama. If we weren't, we wouldn't have all these channel stations. We wouldn't have all these movies and things. I grew up in an era where we had 13 channels and a UHF channel that you had to kind of tune into, to get certain channels. Now it takes me an hour to scroll through every channel on cable to find nothing I want to watch anyway. So I'm more the on-demand guy now. If I knew there was something I want to watch, I'll get on-demand later. Life has a lot of things for me to do, and that's where I'm at. Start the day with some positive affirmations. Start the day with some I am statements. I am great. I am wonderful. I'm powerful. I am following my intuition. I am a leader. I am this. Whatever it is, start with that. Or other affirmations. Louise Hay has a whole teaching on mirror work. And that's something that I needed to get into because of self-love. Find gratitude in every situation. We were just talking about that, how somebody may come and say something and the reaction some people may get becomes anger. I look at it as I had to learn that my reaction is part of my consciousness. And if my consciousness says this person took the time to send me something, no matter what our past experience is, I should be grateful for it. And that gratitude could be either negative or positive. Because I may think that the email or the letter or the video or the phone call means something. But it may also mean the complete opposite, but finally giving me the lesson I need to move in another direction. So find gratitude in every situation, turn failures into lessons. We talked about this failing forward. So the gist of failing forward is pretty much this. My job was to put this together. Well, we have three parts here. We have that, we have the candle, we have the flame. Well, I came and I put this in the center of the room. I then came and brought the candle and put it in the center of the room. But when I went to light it, I realized I don't have a lighter. See, even the candle was dancing. I didn't have a lighter. So failing forward now says, okay, well, I have the stand, I have the candle, I now need a lighter. Am I going to go back and say, well, I'm going to take this back to the store, that back to the store, and whatever, because I failed? No, we fail forward. Make sure that you take the lesson from your failure and move forward. Focus on positive self-talk. This is one that definitely I need, and I constantly battle myself on it, which then generates the negative self-talk again, and I have to go back and do the same thing over. We tend to put ourselves down more than anybody else has. We tend to create scenarios in our own head before we even know what the situation is. So next time you find yourself using an I am statement in the negative, turn it into an I am that, I don't know how many times I've said, I'm so stupid. Well, that's an I am statement in the negative, where I should be turning around and going, oh, I can fail forward here. I am brave enough, if I can't find the words to say that I am smart enough, but I am brave enough to continue my journey. Find a positive. A pendulum, when it swings, can only swing in a momentum, will always go to one side and to the other. So as you know that if you swing to the negative, you could always swing back to the positive. So there's nothing stopping you there. Finally, surround yourself with positive individuals. I can't tell you how much that was a challenge for me. Now I have people around me who speak in positive tones, even when they're learning from me. I remember talking about the knowledge of that there's no good or bad. It's just a label we put on it depending on our consciousness or our perspective of it. I had a conversation recently about that between a negative and positive situation. And I said, I don't believe it's either. I believe it's the intent of the person behind it. But the beauty of that is that I have the power to say if it's positive or negative, or if it's neither, then it's just a situation and all I need to do is find a solution to that situation and we move on. And it affects me neither way. Now that's more of an advanced level, but for right now, make sure that you focus with positive people around you. Because they're going to be people who want to learn from you and they're going to be people that want to teach you. If you remain open and positive, you will notice that even in disagreements, it could be a very positive situation, and that person is meant to be in your life at that point. But if you have people like me, I used to have people that we would get together, have drinks, and all we did was talk about how bad the world was, how bad these people were, who did this, who did that, this and that and the other. And again, goes back to drama television. What is the whole premise to the whole thing? So it is what we are attracted to. And finally, let go of perfection. I used to have a saying that says, aim for perfection, fail on excellence. And it worked for me for a long time because it just told me that I won't be perfect. But if I go for that perfection, no matter what happens, even if I fail at my perspective, it will always be excellent in somebody else's perspective. But I'll be honest with you, even sometimes that can be stressful on me because when it doesn't come out right, I start to go back to that self-talk of, see, you couldn't do it, you're not ready, you're not whatever. Things are scary out there. But when you can talk yourself into at least trying, you get there. So from the author, I want to quote this last part before we let it go. Negative thoughts close your mind off from a lot of the outside world and focus on negative emotions such as fear, anger, and stress. These negative emotions prevent your brain from seeing any other options and choices that surround you. They keep you from reaching your fullest potential. Now, we don't want that, do we? Positive thoughts do the exact opposite of that. They hone in on the positive emotions like joy, contentment, love, and self-worth. Why I bought this book? Self-worth. These positive emotions allow your brain to see your world from a refreshing perspective that encourages new opportunities. They allow you to step into the power and make unlocking the best version of yourself an achievable reality. Positive thoughts will propel you forward. And negative thoughts have an equal and opposite force that will set you back. Be intentional with your thoughts. You are the architect of your world. I can tell you that, and I can promise you, will it be easy? No. Will it be worth it? Yes. Get the book. The links will be in the YouTube for you to pick them up on Amazon, whether you want the physical book or a Kindle, like I'm a Kindle guy. Read the book, put them into practice. Again, we're talking about intentional living at this point. We're talking about taking what you learn and actually putting it into action little by little. Nobody says you got to run a marathon right now. But it's a long hike. But if you've ever been on one of those beautiful nature hikes, you know the beauty that continues to unfold as you take every step. So as always, if no one else has told you, I love you, nothing you can do about it, and I will see you on our next episode.